Hi guys, our topic for today is drugs, Unclean Spirits Part 1. Listen guys, before you watch this video, go and watch another video that I did. It's called Demons, a brief history on the origin and purpose of unclean spirits. When you watch that video all the way to the end, then come and watch this video. It will make a little bit more sense then, okay? So let's get into it. Drugs. What is wrong with drugs and why are they so dangerous? See, drugs are a door or a window through which unclean spirits come into a person's life. Okay? The picture I'm trying to give here is, let's say there is a house, all right? You need to get into that house, but it's closed. What's closed? The doors and the window. Okay? You can only enter into that house through the door. Okay? Unclean spirits want to come into your life. Picture yourself as that house. Unclean spirits want to come into your life. Okay? But there is a door there and it is shut. So what drugs are like a key that will open up that door and allow that person to enter that house, that unclean spirit to enter into that house. Okay? So you need to understand that drugs are a key which unclean spirits have that they use to come into your life, you see? Because, you see, there is certain things you cannot do when you are sober. All right, your mind and your conscious just is not going to allow you to do it. Okay, so a demon needs to have you intoxicated. That spirit needs to have you intoxicated. Okay, in short, you don't know what you are doing. You are drunk. Okay, that way you are not going to think too much about letting that unclean spirit come into your life because you don't even know what it is. You won't identify it. Okay, let's get into this, man. Let me just list a number of drugs that are out there. There are a lot of drugs, trust me, there are a lot of drugs out there. These are just some of them. Number one, alcohol. Okay, alcohol is a drug. Okay, cigarettes are drugs. Okay, marijuana is a drug. Weed. Okay, and these drugs, let me just say this before I go on. Drugs come in different forms. Some come in pills. They actually look like they're medicine, but they're drugs because they're in pill form. Other drugs come in liquid form. Okay? And then there's other drugs that come in substance form. They look like it's powder. All right? And then there's other drugs that they put in food. They make them into food, like weed cakes, It's a cake, but it's got weed in it. When you eat, you're gonna get high. Okay? These are all drugs. All right? So you've got your drugs that come in pill form, like ecstasy comes in pill form. There's also MDMA that comes in powder. All right? But anyway, let's go through the list of the drugs. You've got your ecstasy, you've got your cocaine, you've got heroin, you've got LSD, you've got mushrooms, you've got DMT, you've got crystal meth, you've got MDMA, you've got hashish, and you've got legal highs, and you've got ketamine, and finally, but not least, you've got prescription medication. Trust me, those are drugs. And in fact, if anything, prescription medication they are more dangerous than any of these drugs that I've mentioned. They are more dangerous than the heroin, the cocaine, and the LSD. Let me tell you why. Because when you're taking prescription medication, you're not thinking of it as these are drugs. Okay? You're thinking this is medicine. But I'm telling you, no lie. Prescription medication has killed more people than all these drugs combined. Okay? I have people that I know who are dead right now because of prescription medication. They went to the doctor and the doctor gave them this medication. Gave them drugs, but they thought it was medication. Okay? Anyway, let's go. Point number one that I want to make about drugs, why they are so bad and why they are so dangerous, is that they open you up to the spirit or demonic realm. Okay? You need to understand, we are on earth here and we are humans, all right? That's just one form of existence. There are other realms, other worlds, invisible worlds, okay, where these spirits are and where they operate. Okay, this is why I keep stressing the point, we are not alone on this earth, on this planet. There are other beings with us. Okay, and what drugs do is they serve as a middleman, okay, between the physical realm and the spirit realm. Okay, we are humans. God created us to function in the earth realm, not in the spirit realm. And the only time God wants us functioning in the spirit realm is when we are praying and when we are communicating with Him. Okay, God doesn't want us to communicate with other spirits apart from Him. God Himself is a spirit. Okay, He's not a human being, He's a spirit. Okay, He wants us to communicate with Him, but where it becomes wrong is when you start communicating with other spirits. Okay, so God doesn't want you to communicate with other spirits, but guess what? These other spirits, they want to communicate with you. They want to come into your life, they want to live with you, they want to live in you, and they want to rule over you, they want to control you. Okay, that's what's wrong with drugs. Okay, is that it opens you up to these beings. You have understand this. Whenever you are taking drugs, you are actually giving that demon the key to come into your life. Okay, you're giving them permission, all right, to come into your life. And another thing, while we're on this topic, is once these demons start coming, okay, I don't want to use the word demon because it's too strong. Once these unclean spirits come into your life, they start to invite other unclean spirits. You know what I'm saying? And another important point you need to bear in mind is this, my brother and my sister. I decided to start with drugs concerning unclean spirits because drugs is one of the unclean spirits that will actually invite all them other unclean spirits. Okay? Because when you are drunk, when you are high, you are not thinking. All right? So anything can go. Do you see what I'm saying? You can allow anything to come in. And demons know this. That's why they made drugs. They chose to make drugs because they know once they can get you into a certain state of mind, they can come in, and then drugs open up a door to other unclean spirits coming in. You see what I'm saying? Like, let me give you an example. You know, young man and young woman. Be careful here. Listen to me carefully. You may see a boy or a girl that you like, all right? And they're telling you, hey, let's have sex, you know, intercourse and all that kind of stuff. But you're a young man, you're kind of afraid and you're kind of shy. You see what I'm saying? This is where drugs come in. If you take drugs, your shyness goes away, and you're not thinking, you're easily gonna take off your clothes and end up having intercourse. You see how the point I'm trying to make is they open up a doorway to other things, other evil things that you wouldn't do if you were in your right mind, if you were sober and in your right mind. Listen, you need to trust me on this, man. I've lived this. Okay, there is many things that I've done in my life that I would never have done if I was sober. Okay, the only reason I did those wicked and evil things is because I was under the influence of drugs. Okay, so stay away from drugs. Okay, they are very, very dangerous. Point number two, you need to understand about drugs. Okay, young man, young lady, listen. Drugs will alter your conscience and your appearance. Okay, they've got that power. Once you start taking drugs, they've got the ability to start changing the way you think. Okay? In fact, it is impossible for you to continue taking drugs without changing the way you think. Have you ever heard those people who say, oh, weed, this is just a herb? Okay? See, when they first started out, they were scared to try weed. Okay? They did not know what it was going to do to them. They were scared. And some of the people like me, when I first tried weed, I never liked it because I did it while I was sober. I didn't drink anything. I went straight, I took it. Okay? But over time, what happens once they start taking, now they're no longer looking at it as dangerous, as something that is banned by society. You know, you can go to prison for drugs. You see, even the police know, governments know that weed is bad. Okay, but when these people start taking weed, what happens? They start to change their minds. Oh, this is just a plant. It's just a herb. What happened there? It has changed their thinking. It has changed their brain. It has changed the way they are seeing something that is dangerous and very destructive. They're looking at it as, this is nothing. That's what drugs do. They start to change your mind, the way you think. They even start to change your appetites, your cravings, okay? Certain things that you would never like, you would never touch, you would never even consider doing, under the influence of drugs, you will do them. Not only will you do them, you will also enjoy them, okay? So they start to change your appetites, okay? When I talk, they can even change your sexual appetite. Believe a lot of these people who become gay, I'm not saying all of them, all of these guys, it's under the influence of drugs, okay? They did that nasty act under the influence of drugs and they ended up liking it. And after a period of time, they're no longer attracted to women. They're not moved by women. Now they enjoy that lifestyle. That's the same thing with a lot of these pedophiles and all these. Some of these guys, drugs is involved. Drugs are a direct influence in such kind of behavior. Okay? A lot of these guys, strippers, porn, people who make porn, they are on drugs. Nobody can do that. Who can make porn in their right frame of mind, sober? Okay? The reason they are doing that stuff is because they are high. They get high and then they put them on camera and then they start doing that nasty stuff that they're doing there. You see what drugs can make you do? So there are a lot of things that you look at and you're like, how in the world is that person doing that? But you don't know because you've never taken drugs. It's never even entered into your mind. But me, I'm now shedding light. I'm letting you know what's going on. A lot of these musicians, okay, actors, all that nasty stuff they do, all those nasty lyrics they sing and talk about, it's because they're under the influence of drugs. You know this because they talk about it in their music. Okay? They would never have made that song that you like if they were not on drugs. Okay? So be careful. Drugs will change your mind and it's a very, very slow process. You won't even realize that you are changing. And another thing is they change your appearance. Okay, this is a very, very sad thing where you see somebody, handsome boy, beautiful lady, the minute they start taking drugs, and trust me, drugs like ecstasy, cocaine, heroin, it don't even take very long. Just after 1 month, you're going to start noticing, hold on, this person has started changing. The appearance is changing. You no longer want to bath, you no longer want to look clean. Crazy hairstyles, piercings, you see all those people, piercings and tattoo all over. Tattoo on your face, tattoo on your chest, on your breast, even private parts, thighs. It's drugs. Okay? One of the reasons. It's drugs. Unclean spirits through drugs. Okay? Those are all unclean spirits that you're seeing. And they are working through drugs. So be very, very careful. Don't take drugs. Stay away from drugs and stay away from any person that's taking drugs. Okay? Point number 3, they alter your personality. Okay? You just see yourself, you just start changing. Okay? People around you, they just notice you are changing. Okay? Sometimes you don't even see yourself changing, but your personality starts to change. You become more wrathful. more angry, more reckless. Okay? Things that were bad to you now start to seem good. Okay? Some women even become loose, they just become, sorry for the word, but sluts because of drugs. Okay? You become rebellious. Okay? So be very, very careful. Stay away from drugs. Number 4, they alter your life. Okay? Listen, man. I've hung around with people. Right now they are dead, guys. Let me share one story with you. You see, I'm a musician and I play a little bit of guitar. Alright? There was a place I used to go to in Kingston. That's in England. I met this guy at a park. So what I used to do is after I finished playing my music, I would go and chill at the park. By then I wasn't even taking drugs. Okay? And I met this guy, Richard. Okay? This guy was actually an accountant. Alright? Making good money, living in a good house. Alright? He started taking drugs. Not even 6 months into taking drugs, he quit his job. He couldn't, because when you're too high, you can't go and work. Okay? They gave him his money. When he stopped his job, he used it all on drugs. He blew all the money in 2 weeks. Okay? 1 month later, the guy was on the streets begging, you see, because that habit, that lifestyle of drugs needs to be sustained. So he's on the streets now, he's begging for money to go buy more drugs and get high. Cut the long story short, about 2 years, 3 years of this thing, the guy ended up hanging himself. Okay? See how a guy has gone from being an accountant, having a wife and children, to quitting his job, living on the streets homeless, and ends up hanging himself. That's how drugs can change your life. Okay? You start to become lazy. Alright? You could have been on a good path in life, going somewhere positive. You could have had a bright future. My friend, let drugs get involved and your life will change. Okay? Stay away from drugs. Again, young man, young woman, don't even try them. You know, the English say curiosity killed the cat. Okay? I got into drugs because of curiosity and some other reasons. I'll get into those things later on in the video. Okay? Stay away from them. They're very, very bad. Point number 5. Drugs are very, very addictive. Okay? Addictive is just a posh way of saying drugs are a trap. Okay? I want to put it blunt to you, just in horror form. They are a trap to ensnare you, and it's very, very difficult to come out of. Picture in the jungle what they used to catch animals. Alright? That's another thing that drugs are, a trap in the hands of demons. You are the animal that they are catching. Okay? Imagine somebody wants to hunt a bird or an animal and they set a trap. Okay? Something that's going to hold that animal until they come and catch it. And when they catch it, they're going to kill it and eat it. That's what's happening in the spirit realm. Okay? Drugs are a trap in the hand of demons and unclean spirits, and they are using that trap to catch you. Okay? That's what an addiction is when you can't stop. You see, not everybody starts out addicted to drugs. Okay? They start off slowly. Whether it be alcohol, cocaine, marijuana, you start off, usually, whoever liked alcohol on their first time when they tasted it? No. But eventually, once you keep taking it, there comes a point now where you can't stop. You are addicted to it. Okay? Every time alcohol, every time pills, every time weed. Okay? They are very, very addictive. So young man, don't try them. Okay? You don't know what you are trying. Trust me, you don't know what you are dealing with. You see a friend, if you know anybody who's on drugs, stay away from them. A friend, anybody, just stay away from them. Okay? Once they get a hold of you, mate, it's very, very difficult. Unless God helps you, It is very, very difficult to come out of them, and a lot of people have died. Okay, I can tell you about 5 people that I know personally who have died from drugs. Okay, they started out just innocently, but drugs ended up taking their lives. Okay, point number 6, why drugs are so bad and dangerous, is they alter your reality. Okay, they change reality, they change the way you see things. And if it's some drugs like marijuana, it's instant. You could be sober, you are seeing the world and life in one way. The minute you just take a joint, one puff, everything changes. You start seeing everything completely different. Okay? And over time, the danger with this changing of perception and reality over time is that you start losing touch with reality. Now you are living in a dream world. You are living in cuckoo land. Okay? You are no longer living in the real world. Okay? All people who take drugs struggle to live in the real world. That's why they take drugs. Okay? That homeless person that you see taking drugs, when he takes those drugs, in his mind is no longer homeless. He is happy. And then when the drugs get out of his mind, when he sobers up, oh, I'm still homeless. Okay? What I'm trying to show you is how dangerous drugs are and the path that they can lead you down. Change your reality. Okay? Like I told you about Richard. This is a guy who worked a good job and had a house. After taking drugs, it's like, you know what? What's the point of me having this job? A job is a very important thing in life, my friend. Okay? But drugs have got the power to take something that is important, very, very important, and make it look like it's worthless and useless. He is a guy, because of drugs, he goes and quits a job. That's the same thing that's sustaining him. And now he's living on the streets, begging, and he thinks begging is good and alright. What's making him think like that? Drugs. They've changed his reality. Now he thinks begging is alright. Okay? He starts hanging around with all the wrong kind of people, junkies. You know, because when you're taking drugs, a right person in their right mind won't want to hang around with you. He starts hanging around with people that he has no business hanging around. People that are not going to help him or take him anywhere in life. But when he's high, he sees good in these people. He thinks these people are good. That's the power of drugs, okay? How they can change your reality. You start to see bad people like they are good people. And then you start to see good people like they are bad people. Okay? Young man, young woman, please stay away from drugs. And those of you who are already taking drugs, by all means, please get out. Stop. Find a way to get out. Okay? My advice to you, run to Jesus. Okay? That's why Jesus is there, mate. To set people free from such kind of stuff, mate. Number 7. Point number 7. Hey, got some static energy there. Point number 7 about drugs is that they make you become dependent on them. Okay? This is a very, very, very sad situation, guys. Where now you cannot function without drugs. You can't even have a conversation. You don't want to talk because you haven't taken anything. Okay? With me, there came a point where I couldn't even play my music. Remember, I told you I'm a musician. There came a point where I couldn't play music unless I was drunk and high. I was dependent. If I attempted to play music while I was sober, it was just boring and rubbish. It was only good when I was high. Okay? A lot of this music that you like, rock and roll, hip hop, all that is drug influenced. Okay, those guys cannot perform while sober. They always have to be high. Okay, there's certain people who can't even work unless they're under the influence of drugs. Okay, you become dependent. That's a sad way to live, guys. So young man, young woman, please don't try drugs. Okay, point number 8, drugs are a spirit of waste. Listen, you will not find a person more wasteful in life than a person who takes drugs, because that's the spirit that's behind it. It's waste. Okay, you're going to be wasting money. Number one, that's what drugs do. You waste money, you waste time. Drugs waste your life. Okay, you were doing something productive, you stop. They waste your health. Okay, they waste opportunities. Drug addicts waste their relationships. They destroy every relationship that they are ever in. They destroy your ambition. You wanted to do something, be somebody in life, but because you're taking drugs, not anymore. They make you lose purpose. They waste. Okay, so please stay away from drugs, man. Please stay away from drugs. Listen from me, who's taken drugs before. I've seen what it does to people, and I've seen what they did to my life, and I've seen what they've done to other people. Okay, it's no coincidence that most homeless people are on drugs. It's drugs that led them down that path. Okay, point number 9, drugs compromise your safety. Because you're high, you're not thinking correctly. You don't know how many girls lose their virginity because they were on drugs. They were not thinking. Okay, you compromise your safety. You take yourself to dangerous places. Okay, which is actually my second point. Drugs introduce you to dangerous people, man. All right, when you are taking drugs, number one dangerous person you're gonna have to encounter is a drug dealer. A drug dealer is not a safe person. Okay, but because you're taking drugs now, you have to encounter drug dealers all the time. Okay, you're going to encounter criminals. Do you know that? Do you know some people, the reason they are criminals is because of drugs. You know, you can't go break into another person's house when you are sober. You are scared. So you need those drugs to make you stop. Even your conscience won't allow you. Just like, no, this is evil. You see, all these serial killers, those Charles Mansons, and look, your conscience cannot allow you to just walk up and kill somebody. Okay, these guys took drugs. It's what drove them there, mate. Okay, remember what I told you earlier on in the video. There are certain things that your conscience just won't allow you to do when you are sober. That's why a lot of people drink alcohol and they take drugs. It's so that they can do stuff that they wouldn't normally do when they're sober. Okay? Number 11 point I want to make about drugs is bad decisions. Listen, mate, I've made a lot of bad decisions because I was under the influence of drugs. Alcohol being number one. My choice of drug was ecstasy, and I made a lot of bad and foolish decisions under the influence of alcohol and ecstasy. The reason is very simple. You can't make a good decision if you're high. It's just that simple. Just even taking drugs is a bad decision. Just even smoking it in the first place is a bad decision, because you don't know what you're gonna end up doing after that. And some drugs, you don't even know what they're going to do to you. Okay, so don't even try them, man. All right, you can't make good decisions while you're on drugs, and the longer you keep taking drugs, the more bad decisions you're going to make. Okay, and this is one way you know how to choose friends. You see somebody taking drugs, just know that this person cannot be my friend because they're a bad decision maker. That's one of the ways you can tell that somebody is a bad decision maker, is because they take drugs. They are guaranteed to be bad decision makers because they're making their decisions while intoxicated. They're not thinking properly. Okay? Point number 12 about drugs. They bring in deception and disillusionment. Deception means you believe a lie. Okay, when you're deceived, you are believing in a lie. Disillusionment means you are deluded. You are not in touch with reality. I touched on this on an earlier point. This is a sad way to live. Okay? You want to live in a sober state of mind, and you want to live in reality. You don't want to live your whole life. Some people live their whole life is a lie. Okay? That's what drugs do. Very, very dangerous, mate. Number 13 point about drugs. Sad. Number 13, suicide. That's, if you are taking drugs, 95% chances are you're not going to die a natural death. Okay? A lot of people who take drugs, they end up killing themselves because they can't live with themselves anymore, man. Okay? They've done so much bad, they've destroyed their life to the point where now they don't want to live anymore. Okay? That's the sad reality about drugs. I've told you about Richard. He died. He hanged himself. There is another lady, I've just forgotten her name. Same thing. Okay? There's another guy, Sparky, also same thing. So understand that what you think is weed, what you think is cocaine, heroin, at the end of that, 95% chances is that you're going to end up taking your own life, which is a very, very bad thing, and I don't promote or condone anybody doing that. Life is a very, very precious thing. The last point about drugs I want to make, and then we'll move on to something else, is death and destruction. That's the end. That's the end goal. These unclean spirits want to come into your life, show themselves through you, but the ultimate goal is to destroy your life and to kill you. Okay? So don't indulge or involve yourself in anything that you know that will potentially lead to your death. Okay? We've talked about why drugs are bad, what's wrong with them, and why they're dangerous. My next point is now, how do drugs enter into somebody's life? Okay? How do these invisible and clean demon spirits bring drugs into a person's life? There is only one way, and that's through people. Okay? Unclean spirits are going to use people with unclean spirits to bring drugs into your life, and those drugs will open you up to even more unclean spirits. So number one group of people, demons, these unclean spirits are going to use to bring drugs into your life is friends. Okay? Friends. Be very, very, very careful the people you choose to be your friends. Some people are bent on distraction. Some people don't care about their lives. Some people don't think about the decisions they're making and the consequences of those decisions. Okay? There's dangerous people out there, guys. Okay? So please, don't be friends with people who don't care about their lives. Because if they don't care about their lives, they definitely don't care about your life. Okay? Stay away from friends who take drugs, because you're gonna end up taking drugs. I know this because I first started smoking weed because of my friends. All my friends were smoking, and I was like, let me try it. And when I tried weed, I hated it the first time because I was sober. Just the thoughts that I was thinking, and I was just like, you know what, man, weed is not for me. I did it the first time, and for a very, very long time, I never touched it again. I hated it. Okay? I used to drink, which is another drug. All right? I just sticked to alcohol. I would drink. After drinking for a certain period of time, I met a guy, a friend called Fabio. He used to smoke weed. All right? He liked to smoke weed. I never liked to smoke weed, but he used to play drums for me. All right? And so he used to smoke weed. One time I smoked and I hated it again. Okay? I stopped smoking. He went back to Italy. That's where he came from, Napoli. I kept drinking my alcohol. The next person to introduce me to drugs was a guy called Andre. He also joined the band. He started playing bass, but he was from Brazil. He was always getting high. And I started getting curious. All right. And now there was this one time when I was drunk and then I smoked. That's what got hooked me for a period of time to marijuana, because then I liked it, right? Because I was drunk and then I took the spliff and I went to a next level high. And so for a while I started taking it almost on a daily basis, things like that. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm telling you this just to let you know that friends, okay, are the number one doorway for you to getting drugs. All right. So I started taking weed. I did not like it. Okay. I stopped it. But then again, like I told you, they make you dependent. And when you become dependent, you can't function in life without them. So now I couldn't play my music without being high. I needed a drug, but I hated weed. You see what I'm saying? I didn't want weed as my drug. You see what I'm saying? So one day I was with this girl called Georgina. We're in the park, we're chilling, and I want to play music, but I can't because I'm not feeling it. The desire is there, but the feeling is not there. You see what I'm saying? So I just said, you know what, I want to play music. I need something to put me on a up, to give me energy. And she was like, try some ecstasy. I'm like, ecstasy? Hell no, mate. I don't want to be hallucinating and things like that, because that's what I thought ecstasy does. You see what I'm saying? She's like, no, it's not like that. I'm on it right now. And this is a 14-year-old girl, right? And I was 16 then. So, and I've already drunk. I'm under the influence of alcohol. And my thinking was like, if this girl can take ecstasy and it's not doing anything bad to her, and she's a girl, I can definitely take ecstasy and be fine. And I took ecstasy. And from that day onwards, I was hooked on ecstasy for a period of like 10 years. Alright? Very, very horrible drug. Don't even try it. You see how friends can bring in... You see, she was a friend of mine, and all this time I never knew that she took drugs. Until that one day when she said that. And it only took that one day. And that's how a lot of these drugs entered into my life. It's through friends. Okay? Number 2 way drugs enter into a person's life is events and places that you go. Okay? Guys, be very, very careful what kind of events you attend and what places you go. Events like concerts and parties, you better go to a party where you've got normal people who don't take drugs, who've got good morals. Okay? A lot of these parties, you've got lawless, immoral children over there. Okay? They're gonna bring drugs, they're gonna bring booze, because they want to get laid. What do you think they're going to do? You see what I'm saying? They want to get you intoxicated and all that kind of stuff so that you're not thinking correctly. So be careful. Concerts is a big place where people get introduced to drugs. Parties, nightclubs. Okay? So be very, 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 very careful. Places, college and universities is one of the top places where people get introduced to drugs, because you are away from your parents. Okay? Now you want to explore the world. You think you are a grown-up. College and university is a very, very dangerous place. I'm going to do a video about this sometime in the future. The dangers of colleges and universities is this. Listen, mate. You got people coming from all different walks of life. Some from different countries. You don't know how they've been brought up. Okay? And then you've come from a Christian family or a good family. Let's just put it at good family. You go there. You are young and innocent and naive. You don't know that there is bad people. Listen, there is a lot of bad people out there. You see what I'm saying? So you're in college, now you're looking for friends. God forbid you make friends with a bad person. They introduce you to drugs. That's what happens in colleges and universities. People are introduced to drugs. A lot of people lose their virginities in college. Okay? they lose their faith in college. Okay, but this is not about that. This is about drugs. Just understand, young man and young woman, while you are in high school, while you are in grade school, understand, I'm preparing you. When and if you do go to college, understand that there is 95% chance of you encountering drugs and people that use drugs. So be ready. Okay, go with this mind into university and college. I don't want to make friends with anybody that takes drugs. Okay, number 3 way, and this is a very big one, that drugs enter into a person's life, is music. The music that you are listening to. Okay, music and movies. All right, there is music out there that blatantly promotes taking of substances. If you listen to Snoop Dogg or Wiz Khalifa, what are they telling you to do? I keep just getting like shocked me. If you listen to Wiz Khalifa or Snoop Dogg, what are they telling you to do in the music? To get high, to smoke a spliff. Okay, so be careful of the music that you listen to. My advice to you is don't even listen to secular music. All right, stop doing it, because a lot of it promotes drug use. Okay, and if they're not promoting drug use overtly, they're doing it through subliminal messages. The Beatles used to do this. I was a very, very big fan of the Beatles, and I believe one of the reasons why I tried drugs is because of the Beatles. You know, they put subliminal messages in songs like Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, A Day in the Life. Subliminal messages to influence you to take drugs. For all of you who don't know what subliminal messages, these are messages that you can't really hear them, but they're there, but they put them in the music and turn them way, way down, but your subconscious picks up on them. You see what I'm saying? And these subliminal messages stay in your conscious for a long period of time, and they're just waiting for an opportune time for them to manifest themselves, just like I'm telling you. So for all you know, if you remember that story I told you about Georgina thing leading me to taking ecstasy, it could have been that because I was drunk then. I drank a little bit. The Beatles had already subconsciously programmed me to take drugs. Do you see what I'm saying? And so anyway, let me not go into that. Just understand, music is dangerous. Okay, there is music that promotes the use of drugs, overtly and covertly, openly and hidden wise. Okay, another way through another group of people demons use to make you start drugs is family. Thank God my dad and my mom don't take drugs, but I've had friends and I know people who learned how to take drugs from their parents. The only reason they started taking drugs is because their parents were taking drugs, their brother was taking drugs, their sister was taking drugs, and they're thinking, because you know, usually these things start off when you're young. They don't start when you're old. They start off when you're young. So when a young person looks at their family, they're like, oh, if dad does it, I can do it. If mom does it, I can do it. If my brother is doing it, there's nothing wrong with it. That's how a lot of people start smoking. You see a young girl smoking because she saw her parents do it. She saw her brother do it. A young boy smoking, taking weed, is because his father is a Rasta. Hey, listen, I'm nothing against Rastas. You get the point. All right. Lastly, the last group of people, and this is a sad one. The last group of people the devil uses to bring drugs into your life. Doctors. Yep, prescription medicine. You know what I'm saying? Because not everybody, you see, understand this. There is an agenda and a conspiracy to get you on drugs. Okay? Demons sat together. Angels in the heavenly places, they sit down together and discuss, how are we gonna get this person on drugs? How are we gonna get these people on drugs? Because they know if you're not on drugs, they can't use you. They need you to be on drugs. Okay? One of the groups that the devil uses to get you on drugs is doctors. Listen, prescription medicine are drugs. Let nobody fool you. Okay? The only reason people don't think prescription medicine are drugs is because they don't expect to find drugs from a doctor or in a hospital or in a clinic. Okay? But these guys know full well. Okay? Musicians can tell you that. Michael Jackson died. What killed him? Drugs. Elvis Presley died. What killed him? Drugs. Who gave them those drugs? Doctors. Do your homework. Do your research. Okay? They'll tell you, oh no, this. Here is a pill. This pill gives you energy. You know. But that cocaine, that pill is cocaine disguised as a pill, as medicine. The devil is very clever, man. So be very, very, very careful. Stay away from prescription medicine. And a lot of people who take prescription medicine end up killing themselves. Alright? That's another thing you need to remember. Okay? So please, there is an agenda and conspiracy to get you on drugs. Remember, these demons are homeless. They are vagabonds. They need a place to live. Okay? And they want to live in you. So they conspire to ruin your life and to destroy your soul. Okay? Understand what I am telling you. Don't be naive, man. You're not a child anymore. Alright? You're not, and if you're a child, you're not going to stay a child anymore. Conclusion: stay away from drugs. Please stay away from drugs. Stay away from friends or people who take drugs. Because if you keep those people in your life, that's what they're going to bring. And you're going to be influenced to take drugs. Okay? Listen, whenever you take drugs and whenever you make friends with somebody who's on drugs, understand what you're doing. All you are doing is you are inviting demons into your life. That's what you're doing. Okay? When you see somebody taking drugs, stay away from them. Okay? I'm telling you this by experience. Okay? And listen, there's another thing I forgot to tell you about friends. They never even peer pressure you. That thing of peer zero. A lot of your friends will tell you, no, don't even do it, mate. Just by you being around them and seeing them all the time, one day you're just going to try out of curiosity. I have never, in all my years that I took drugs, I was never peer pressured into it. Okay? And I don't know anybody who was ever peer pressured into taking drugs. All they did was they were hanging around people. We were hanging around people taking drugs, and eventually we ourselves decided to try. Okay? So stay away from drugs and stay away from people who take drugs, because you are inviting unclean spirits. And once you start taking drugs and they get a hold of you, you are guaranteed to throw your life away. Okay? And last but not least, and sad of all, is you are going to end up in hell. Okay? There is no person who takes drugs who's going to heaven. God don't allow that drug takers in heaven. So ask yourself, is it worth it? Is this something worth going to hell for and burning in the fire forever and ever? That's not something you want, man. We all want to go to heaven. But there are certain things that will stop you from going into heaven. One of them being drugs. Okay? That's all I had for you today. If you like the video, please subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button. Share the video. Until the next time, bye.